say hello and welcome to the Holy Hour podcast, the All Cure bi-weekly podcast. And tonight, I'm very happy to say I got Coulter and Chaz here to join me to talk mint car with you guys. How you doing?
Doing good.
All right,
doing
man.
Good.
Cool deal. Thanks for joining us too, Chaz. You doing all right?
I'm doing all right. I'm going to try to do my best Robert, like, little Michael Jackson kind of thing that he does during every single part of this song.
Yeah, there's a lot of little yelps all over this. Is that what you would call it? Little squeaks, and there's a lot of them. So he must.
It was like a giant soundboard of all his little quirks that they put in and just pressed it.
Totally,
and I love it
for sure. So yeah, thanks for joining us out there too. Mint Car, very controversial Cure song. So I hope everybody is ready for the ride. And we haven't talked singles in a while, so I figured this would be a good one to have everybody on board. We're kind of leaning on the 25th anniversary of Wild Mood Swings still technically going on. Although I feel like that's getting more focused than the 40th of Faith, but I guess there's only so much you can really talk about with Faith because it's such a heavy album that it's all like, let's keep celebrating Faith. Everyone's like, let's.
And Faith has also been reissued a billion times.
Yeah,
and Wild Mood Swings. This is the first time.
So. Yeah, we're getting any kind of rehashed love and refocus and reminiscing of Wild Mood Swings. So but first off, thanks to you guys for making it work since we are stretching time zones and technically recording this over Labor Day weekend and all. So I really appreciate you guys being flexible as always. So thanks, man.
No problem.
But Mint Car, should we dive on in?
Let's hop on in.
Hop on in, get this car rolling.
There you go.
All right. Cool. Well, it was the second single on Wild Mood Swings. Officially came out in June 96. The album had come out in May, so shortly after that. I figured instead of, usually we kind of tack these things on at the end, but we'll flip it this time. And we did throw out, asking for any listener thoughts on Instagram. And we got a couple that kind of covered it and summed it up too, so I thought I'd read them to you guys to kick it off here. So as I said, this is a song that's pretty, split among Cure fans, I think is one way to put it, where people either love it, they're cool with it, or just absolutely hate it. It seems like a lot of extreme emotions, though. So let's see. First off, we got Road Glorp Chris out there. Said, I started wearing loud, oversized sports jerseys after this video and still keep a few on call when I'm feeling minty. so yeah, if I recall,
don't blame Robert Smith for that. You gotta blame Kevin Smith for that.
Yeah,
don't. Wrong Smith, brother.
Yeah. Do you think there's a connection there? Is Robert Smith a Kevin Smith fan at this stage, you think? I think he probably liked the early works.
It wouldn't surprise me. One way or the other, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
So but that's just the classic. You're getting chubby and you want to hide your fat. So
just put some layers on there, So.
But everybody knows when you go in the swimming pool with the t-shirt on that it just looks worse. So
true.
Yeah.
Swimming in a hockey jersey, though. I don't know. Does anybody go swimming in a hockey jersey? A little heavy.
I own many a hockey jersey, and I've never tried to swim in one.
Yeah. So. This may have been the first. I was trying to think back to Wild Mood Swings. The first time we saw, aside from maybe press photos that just came, because the 13th video he wasn't wearing any of the hockey jersey, but it would pretty much become the uniform for the whole tour and everything. So this might have been the first glimpse in the Mint Car video, which we'll talk about in more detail later. But and even not much in that. It's just during the bridge where you see him in his full hockey glory, maybe for the first time. So yeah,
which is like a really weird. I mean, I guess if you're going on tour around stadiums, it's not, but like you would think it would be a football thing. Like, I don't imagine that Robert's ever seen a hockey game.
Yeah, it's a little odd. I feel like he did change it up to like a basketball one or something on a couple,
Oh
even though, or it
my
was like a basketball
God.
team on a hockey jersey kind of thing. Maybe there wasn't a hockey team for that in a city or something, but yeah, who
I would
knows?
love to see Robert in just a basketball jersey.
Sure. Nothing under it,
Yeah, nothing under it, just
Yeah.
oversized. Like you can see down his when he lifts up his arm, you can see like all the way down to his ribs.
Yeah.
So yeah,
But
hairy armpits.
we won't get bogged down on the jersey talk too long. We'll go all episode on that one. But then we had Tyler out there. He said, "Yeah, let's do it." I'm not sure if that meant like a collective like team. Yes, let's talk about Mint Carr, or if he wanted me to call him up. So apologies if that was the because I know our buddy Antonio was like, "You gotta talk to me about this." I'm like, "Well, we got this whole thing set, but I'll try to call you." So if I don't fit it in, Antonio, apologies. We'll bring it up next time we talk. John in the UK said, "I hate it. Utter garbage. Easily their worst song. Worse than Freak Show." So damn.
Oh my God.
so there's some of that extreme hate that I was talking about there, but not sure I totally agree by any means. I'm quite fond of this song actually, but I could see, I don't know, worse than Freak Show. That's a bold statement.
I don't even know if Freak Show is the worst song.
Yeah, I know.
but
It's like a
No.
It's yeah, Mint Car's nowhere near
yeah. I think
like the bottom.
maybe it's like not counting some of those ones like The Promise and Scream and stuff. Those later ones that are just like gotta be the worst. But that's a whole other episode.
I think that's just like a clear break from people that don't like Poppy Cure. Which
Yeah,
is, John's
yeah.
a cool guy.
Yeah, he's always
You know,
said
he's
he's
been on the show.
not into the super poppy cure, so this makes sense. And then
so
Craft Theory says it's a nice summery pop song with an excellent video. However, I was surprised that Robert Smith rated it so highly in the recent DEK interview. I don't think it could have been another Friday I'm in Love because of the lyrics. So that's something we'll touch on later with its success and stuff when it did come out. But I kind of agree with that, that it's a fun summery song for sure. And surprised that he is still kind of supporting it and like still praising it, a bit more, and still sticking by the fairly common phrase that we've heard him say a bunch of times that he thinks it's a better pop song than Friday I'm in Love. So not sure.
Coulter, as somebody living in perpetual heat, is this the perfect summer song?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
As the Cure goes.
As the Cure goes? Well, yeah. I mean, Burn's got to be probably number one. Hot, hot, hot. No, hot, hot, hot. That's got to be number one.
Yeah.
But top 10 heat songs. We'll go with that.
Yeah, I definitely have a lot of summery infatuation with it, and like driving around early spring more maybe.
I would say spring.
It's
Yeah, this is more of a spring song for me.
Yeah,
like,
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, putting the windows down.
Totally.
Putting it on. Yeah.
So those are some common thoughts out there as we segue into our initial opinions. I guess that's a good segue then. So where do we stand on this, guys, as our representatives of the song for this episode? Are you guys thumbs up, thumbs down, and how harshly in each direction? What do you say, Coulter, as our guest of honor?
Well, I got into the Cure, I think, in 2007, so I wasn't like you guys in the sense where, like, you were there when Disintegration came out and then Wish. And this was like, you might have had a certain expectation. This came out, I kind of was all over the place. I had everything at my disposal, but I really liked Wild Mood Swings. I went through different phases, but I liked that the album, I know we're not talking the album as a whole, but I just think it was very diverse. So there might be some stuff you like initially and some stuff you don't. To be honest, when I first got into this album, I pretty much just skipped to the last two tracks because I really liked the acoustic laid back feel. But this song, as I started to get into more of the pop stuff, I really liked this song. And my friend who got me into the Cure, at his wedding, I did the music for it, and he had me play this song as they were like after the ceremony and they were walking back. And I ended up doing the same thing. I liked the idea, and I did the same thing. I felt like it was, just like the video or like the concept, or what Simon says, it's kind of like, new car. It's something new.
Yeah.
So I like that about it.
Yeah. Right on.
Yeah. It's a fun song, and I don't know. I like it. I like it more than Friday I'm in Love, maybe because it got less play,
Yeah.
and it has been covered less. But
Yeah.
I don't know
True.
who. Yeah, I don't think that 311 is gonna cover this song anytime soon.
Yeah.
But it's
Uh,
what. Yeah. But having kids, this is like one of the Cure songs that you can like get your kids
Yeah.
into the band with, because you're not going to put on let's listen to the Drowning Man and
Right.
the Bond, so they're not
Yeah.
going to be into that. So this is a perfect song along with like Hot Hot Hot, or Why Can't I Be You, and all the other pop magic. So
Yeah.
yeah, I would. This is one of I can't be in a bad mood listening to this song. Like, I can be in a bad mood and listen to Just Like Heaven,
Right.
and some of the other songs that have that mix of dark lyrics but poppy music. But this is one that like it gets kind of wakes me up. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That was kind of an initial thought I jotted down. It bleeds into, yeah, I'm pretty much agreeing with both you guys that it's just such a fun song, and it is definitely more disposable in the Cure, scheme of darkness or whatever. It's like,
yeah,
yeah, it's just a fun song, put it on, have a good time, but like
yeah.
that idea that there isn't really any ambiguity in his lyrics, or there's none of that gray. Even Friday I'm in Love, he's like kind of miserable every other day of the week
yeah,
except for Friday. It's like there's all of that. Just like Gavin, like you said, sometimes it's the funnest song in the world, but other times you can feel bummed out when you listen to it. And this
yeah.
one, pretty much, do you think this is the purest happy Cure song then? I don't know what, I guess, like,
Maybe
I thought,
Love Cats.
true, yeah.
I don't.
With Humans, do you think, though? As far as humans go, I thought like Halo might be a contender, and like that's
Doing the
pretty
Unstuck.
doing the Unstuck. Yeah, I mean both those
Giggle
still
Biscuit.
true. Giggle Biscuit.
I would probably say yeah.
Yeah, probably top three or top
Yeah,
five.
because usually
I
he'll
like the ones you mentioned. Yeah.
throw a few little weird wrenches in there that you still could take it a few different ways. Even like we said with Love Song, it's like, is he being sarcastic? You could almost, he just sounds a little sad still. I don't know, but like, it's like, I don't know if there's any irony in this at all. I mean, I think he's full on just blissed out Bob on this one. So it's,
Yeah.
so maybe that's the reason why people
I
could have a problem with it too. But
I was just gonna say that I think people don't like the idea of a happy, like, giggly Robert Smith, and or they don't have that in their mind of him, and like this kind of is like, this is full on Giggle Biscuit.
right.
So I love it.
Yeah.
So.
Totally. Cool. Well, yeah, maybe before we dive into more just personal opinions and feelings towards little aspects of the song, some of the background on it too, just most of it we've heard a bunch of times, so we'll kind of breeze through it there. But also a lot of it was reassured in the recent DEK magazine, like we said. It was a Simon bass line that kind of brought this in, which makes sense because it's a super rad bass line. So, yeah, hopefully. That's the saddest part of the episode there, guys. Saying this is a Simon bassline. But so yeah, but yeah, it's cool that it is like a fairly straightforward pop song, but that bassline is uniquely Cure and does feel, like that wouldn't be what your average pop band would throw down as a bassline, for a song like this if you recorded it. So pretty interesting. So yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of demos floating around out there too. I have 3. I don't know what's going to come out on this official reissue in 2048 when that comes out or whatever. but the 3 I had, I don't know if you guys have stumbled across these at any point there. They all sound super crappy quality, so I've got just versions from wherever, But the first one I have, it's just like a minute 30. It's like instrumental, no vocals. It's all electric. which will be kind of an ongoing struggle and debate, I think, in the band as they recorded this and mixed it a billion times of whether mostly the rhythm guitar, whether to use an electric or an acoustic. So most of these, it's all electric still. In the early phases, it's choppier. So that's just the first little minute 30 snippet. Then there's one called the First Pass demo. That one pretty much sounds the same, I thought. Again, an electric rhythm. The lead part was different, though. Didn't really have the sliding. It had like a different little riff they were doing, but it still had harmonies and stuff. And then the third one.
I have the demo 96 off the Blood Sessions bootleg. Is that one of them?
I think that's what it's just called demo version, the one I had, and I think that was in that. Yeah.
It's 3 minutes and 29 seconds.
Okay, yeah, I think that was this one too. It was just kind of, it sounded more like a more layered version of that first shorter one where it had the electric, but it was choppier. So a little choppier maybe with a different lead part, but it did have vocals that sounded pretty right on, with all the different harmonies and stuff. So they might have kept, just different stuff they're building on and just pulling stuff in and out of, which would make sense while they're recording it. And just hearing everything again about like the recording process of everything with Wild Mood Swings, it sounded like they would just get the drum down or something, and just keep piling shit in and then taking stuff out and pile it back on. So there's there's 500 mixes of every song on this album. But so yeah, nothing drastically different though from each one. So I think it had a pretty clear vision from the start compared to a lot of Wild Mood Swing songs too, where they kind of knew where they were going with this one.
Are you a fan of the acoustic version on acoustic hits?
Nah, I don't think it works.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm kind of.
I like it.
Acoustic, it didn't really. I think because you can't really do that guitar part. I think that's a huge part of it for me. I do like the slide and lead part. That's all the different leads and the solo and stuff, and it doesn't work quite as good on acoustic stuff. So there might be something to that.
I think it could be a great point for like a folk punk band to make a version of it.
Yeah.
So just building off of that. So
yeah.
I can hear it in there and I like it. So
yeah.
I wasn't a fan of everything on that acoustic album. I did like that one though.
Yeah, I mean it's all still fun to hear, but
yeah,
it wasn't really the ones I'd take it over or think it could compete with the other one by any means. But on the recording, it's that Mark Price guy that we talked about. He did the drums for Trap and Treasure, too. Yep. So pretty solid ones that he did all of them on. So that's kind of cool. And the Yelps are all in there. Like we said, it has some, it starts out with, one of some of his best, I think, work on the on the making squeaky noises, I think. Kicker rock. So the chart stuff was interesting, though, when it finally did get released, going back to that idea of it not doing very great. It peaked at 31 on the UK charts, 58 in the US. And Iceland, it did make it to number 3, so it did great in Iceland. Which, take that however you want, I guess. But
Bjork didn't have a new song that month.
Nah, I guess they needed the good, fun summary song in Iceland. But yeah, his quote, like you said, he said it a bunch of different ways and times. But he said it was the single on the album. I thought it was a better song than Friday, but it did absolutely nothing because we weren't the band at the time. The timing just wasn't right. It taught me that sometimes there's a tipping point, and if you're the band, then you're the band, even if you don't want to be, and there's nothing you can do about it. So it's kind of a weird wording of it, but at the same time, I kind of get what he's saying, where Friday I'm in Love, because they had, songs like Just Like Heaven and stuff that didn't really blow up the charts, It was just like Friday I'm in Love was like the perfect storm of having a catchy, accessible pop song that everybody could get behind, but at the same time it was on that album that everybody was paying attention to, so it makes sense. But like by this point I don't know if it really is a knock on the song that it didn't chart higher, because it could have been any band, and you know what I mean, if it that timing of where the band was and their popularity and all that stuff. because they get into a lot of the argument of how it should have been the first single, but I don't even know if that would have helped by that point, So, what do you guys think?
I think if you're,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can make two arguments based on the musical landscape of the time
Mm-hmm.
and how everything had shifted since '92. But you could also make an argument that the album itself didn't have the backing songs to be able to make that song possible.
Right.
You didn't have, all the stuff that, Let It Release and all the other High and all the other songs on Wish, which besides Wendy Time, I think is pretty much a perfect album.
Right.
And, you don't have that to fall on with Mint Car. So you can't slip that pop song in there if your other singles aren't anywhere near what they should be. So you can't slide in Mint Car When Gone is one of your singles.
Yeah, and coming after the 13th, where everybody was like, "Whoa, what the hell is that?" It's like, "Hey, we got this. Remember us? We're the Friday in Love Band." It's like, nah, that ship might have sailed, but.
But I mean, we're looking at that now. But like Coulter as a fan, that like a newer fan, how does that fit in to like the love of a band? Because you don't have the constraints of time that were going on back then, like musical wise. So, like, where does that fall for you? Like, does it matter?
I don't think it necessarily matters, but like kind of like what you said, I didn't have like this is just it at the time, and this is what you're given. I could go back and go, okay, I want to get into the acoustic stuff now, or I want to get into the more depressing. And definitely, like at first, like I said, it was more of the acoustic mellow, and then Disintegration followed, and I was hard to get anything else after that. But I think once I really decided, okay, I want to be into the pop songs now, I had this at my disposal. It wasn't like I was limited with this is what it is.
Yeah, there's a certain benefit now compared to, back then when I can only imagine you, Gavin, waiting 4 years for this album to come out.
And it's weird because a lot of that blame gets thrown on the Britpop thing, the fact that it took them 4 years to put it out. But I mean, there was shit in between, even though it felt like an eternity as a Cure fan waiting. But you had like Show in Paris, and then you had other stuff, the Burn, the Crow soundtrack. There was definitely enough nuggets to keep Cure fans going, and it was kind of like, and even the 13th, as weird as it was, I knew by that point he was pretty prone to do that, so I'm like, well, whatever, I'm not going to judge the whole album on the 13th. I didn't think the whole thing was going to sound like that, and even Britpop, it's not, I mean, it's different, but it's not drastically different than Mint Car. It's not like they had put out like a super dark song. Would almost be weirder, I think, because everything with Britpop was so fun and stuff. If they'd put out like some super depressing song, it would have been more of like a sore thumb kind of thing sticking out, but I don't know, but I feel like the song did just it got the usual airplay too, like 120 minutes, and they would play it, on whatever late night, but it wasn't like the breakthrough mainstream that they got with Friday I'm in Love, so it was.
I hear it on the radio at work and in the car, so it's playing in IKEA or Target, so it's still in the rotation. It's not a forgotten song. And you'll never hear, the 13th are gone anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be a trip, wouldn't it? If you fucking walk into
whoa.
IKEA and you're shopping and the 13th comes on.
Yeah. Yeah, because I kind of feel like too, there's a little bit of that, like they've had such a taste of success and everything with Friday I'm in Love, so they're comparing it to that, but like I said, with Just Like Heaven only made it to 29 on the pop charts. I mean, this wasn't that far off 31, it wasn't, it's just kind of like he said, I think he did kind of nail it where it just wasn't the timing for that, while it was the success for changed. Lullaby and Love Song and everything was perfect for the timing, but so, I don't know. You can't totally blame Britpop, I think, but it's an easy out that everything had just drastically changed and moved on, but who knows?
I think in just like the American music scene, everything had completely gone on its head from the early 90s to 96. And
Yeah, more
it just
grunge, right? Like things started to just shift completely.
grunge and punk was pretty much gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And boy bands were on the rise, and you had single acts like Britney Spears was coming up, and you had less gangster rap going on and more of
Hmm.
uh show bling and party and everything like that, and rather than the gangster stuff that was going on. So it was a completely different world. Kurt Cobain is dead. It's just it's not the time that they should have come up with a depressing album, but I think it would have worked better for them in the long run.
Yeah.
So
Which is kind of the irony of that too, where the Cure probably
Yeah.
would have done better if they'd put out like a super, because a lot of that late '90s shit was like over dramatic, super serious, or it's like they probably would have done better putting out like Blood Flowers then, as opposed to, that now they're like, no, this is our fun album. Everyone's like, what? So much yellow.
And like we had gone over the album, we'd beaten it to death, but like you and I assume Coulter are all fans of that album, through even with all its flaws.
Yeah.
So I'm a huge fan of the artwork. Like I think it's definitely one of my favorite albums when it comes to the artwork that was put into it.
Yeah.
And they used a lot of pictures instead of actual pictures instead of drawings or anything, which was different for them. And the sound was overproduced and too much. There's a lot of flaws in it, but we all love it. So
yeah, well, it's a good segue into the idea of the mixing and versions of it and shit. I mean, that's a whole debacle of Wild Mood Swings in itself. But like one of the core things worth noting for specific to Mick Carr is that Paul Corkett did the final mix on that one. The backstory, if anybody isn't familiar, that they basically ran out of time, so they outsourced all the mixes of all the songs on the album to as many people as possible, pretty much. And so every song got like multiple mixes, and they kind of pick and choose which ones worked at best. But he really loved the Mick Carr one from Paul Corkett so much that that's what lands him the gig to do the producing job on Blood Flowers next. So which is a little weird that like you love him for doing this pop song and then he's gonna do this super dark album for you, so maybe there's some conflict there and how that worked, but good on him for winning the job with a good mix. So and with the single, like I said, you get this is what drove Donald and I crazy back in the day. We're like, well, what the hell's all these like remixes that aren't remixes on it and stuff? Because we'd all been through the remix stuff with Mixed Up so much that these were just kind of alt mixes. And later years finding out that it had this whole where you're just getting different mixes from everybody. So this was a way to just kind of include ones they liked, I think, as B-sides. Gets super ridiculous by the time like Gone comes out and stuff, or Coulter and I were messaging about like what the hell is going on with those mixes. Like half of them sound like video game like 8-bit versions and shit, and they're just like, are you even trying? What is this? So not sure what they're going with for most of those, but I guess focusing on the Mick Carr ones, it's the Buskers mix and the Electric mix were the two main ones on that. And the Buskers one is basically swapping out all for acoustic guitars, going back kind of like what you're saying of the Greatest Hits one. It almost sounds like a studio version of what they do later on the Greatest Hits disc. But that's just like them playing live, more like unplugged style. This is like full on studio version, but with acoustics. And I don't know. I don't like it. I think because they cut out the lead part. There's like no bass. Like, like I didn't even catch that when Coulter, you said that. He was like, where'd the bass go?
That's the betrayal.
That's what drives the song, right? That's what it's all based around that.
Yeah. So I was just like, yeah, that's why it sounds so thin and awful. I was just like, yeah, it just sounds like almost, if anything, they should have just cut everything and just have him do it.
Just the bass,
or just an acoustic Robert song, which would be super weird. Like they've never done that, but that would just be so drastically weird that'd be kind of cool to just have him like solo acoustic at the coffee shop with it, play it like that, even if it's a studio version. But this had all the other stuff in there still, and it just, I don't know, wasn't a fan of that one. But and then the electric one's pretty much the same, but they swap out the rhythm guitar with a full-on electric, kind of going for that choppier feel of like some of those demos were and stuff, I think. But I don't know, did you guys check those out or have any strong feelings one way or the other?
I didn't think they were that. I mean, neither of them is really great. Neither of them is terrible to me, but I didn't think they were that different. Like sometimes, a mix you really like, it's got something different to it that is worth going to that instead of the original. As to where these, I'd much rather just hear the original.
Yeah.
Yeah, very few Cure songs I've listened to that have been remixed. Like I've gone, hey, that's as good as the original or better. Like
right.
I think it's maybe happened maybe once or twice, but
right.
it's okay. But like it just kind of represents the biggest flaw of this album of just having too many hands.
Yeah.
In the cookie jar at once,
Oh yeah, the electric mix too. I felt like did have like some other, like I'm not too ever big on picking apart things, but I felt like they fucked with the snare too much on the electric one, where it did sound more like segueing a bit into like the B-sides were Waiting and Pink Dream and Home, right, on one of them. So, and Home I always love, but like the snare drives me crazy. But yeah, it's just the tone of it. There's a few other songs on Wild Mood Swings. It was just this kind of 90s snare hit production that just kind of like, but that's just nitpicky for me, but I felt like it was weird because in that version of the electric mix, I felt like they kind of fucked with the snare a bit too much on that one. So like everything else felt a little sloppier too. So I think we get the best mix possible on the one that's on the album. So no surprises there, I guess. This dude David on a Facebook page, he posted a video I hadn't seen. It was a UK MTV Most Wanted clip, and it was from '95, so it's before, because this was one of 3 that they had actually played at a few festivals and stuff before Wild Mood Swings came out, and this was them playing on his show. It's that VJ guy that he's buddies with, and there's a lot of clips of him on there. I forget the guy's name. Yeah. But so yeah, it was like them doing Mint Car on there before it came out, and it's the only one I've ever seen where Perry's playing the electric, so they were still going with the electric idea, I think, on that. So, and you can kind of totally hear that vibe to it, and it's crazy what a difference that makes, because it just doesn't have like that kind of cool acoustic rhythm guitar behind the lead part that's in electric and everything too. So
yeah,
it's worth checking out. We'll link to that on the Facebook page, but it's a good one because it has kind of that early like energy too, if you can tell, of a song before it's officially come out too. So it's a really good live version. So
did it have a different name? Because I know sometimes when they play a song like before the album comes out, they'll have like a working title.
I don't know if they even say what the name of it is. Like in the recording, he just says, "And now The Cure," and they just play it, I think. I'll have to double check that, but yeah, I don't think they called it anything. But pretty weird. Maybe that's a good.
I always hated when bands came up on stage and played a new song but didn't say anything about it.
Yeah, they didn't say what it was.
It's like, what the fuck was that?
So yeah,
it was kind of like, did they ever announce when they did 2016 and they did It Can Never Be the Same or Step Into the Light? Did they say anything, or they just played it?
I think they just played it. He said new song a couple times, or he would make a joke that it's new, but as in hasn't been recorded.
I think when I saw him in San Diego, and I'm pretty sure like they just went into it, but me, like on the Facebook groups, people had posted about it, so I kind of knew it was going to happen. But otherwise, people probably like, I don't know what this is.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess based off the car name and everything, going into what the hell they're going for with the title there, I was like, it's always kind of fun to look up what people speculate the meanings and stuff, even though the song's about as straightforward as it gets. You can still always pick apart the song meanings and stuff. But Urban Dictionary actually has a entry for Mint Car. And I was just like, what is like a thing? But it sounds like it's based off of the
Where do you
song.
put what and when?
Yeah, exactly. So they said a desirable event that has taken place, a pleasant period of time that seems unreal, based on a Cure song. So they're just kind of coming up with this based off of the Cure song, I guess. It's like, example, I worry that the week I spent with you was a total mint car and means nothing anymore. So, like, I don't think anybody's actually just said it as, like, slang. Have you heard anything
Yeah,
about
that's
that?
what all the kids say nowadays.
Yeah, is
Like,
it? 'Cause
that was a big
That's
thing
mint
in
car.
95. Yo, that's mint car, bro.
Totally. So yeah, I don't think that one took off. Maybe they wanted it to be that way, like the hit. But this is so mint car, dude. But so yeah, I had a friend speculate. He was like, "That's totally about losing your virginity, right?" And I was just like, "Yeah." I was like, "Well, yeah, maybe. I guess if you take like the pervy Bob approach, which is we've proven is a very valid perspective on a lot of his lyrics." So there is something to that, where it could be like a losing your virginity in a like very positive way. I guess it doesn't seem like most people maybe it's just me. Usually people have a more of a negative approach to that magical moment, but I guess this is
it's
if
always ended up crying. And,
yeah,
you know.
exactly. I guess if everything went right, this is what it would be like. Yeah, so
I just went to songmeanings.com and I'm trying to read people's awful takes, but
yeah.
So
And I guess having Pink Dream as the B-side, it is kind of a
ugh.
he definitely goes there with it, so maybe Mint Car is about.
Didn't we discuss about how like hot and horny he is on this?
Yeah,
on this album?
or just in general. It gets very sensual for Robert sometimes, So I could see how this song could be that way instead of just a more innocent love. But I don't know. I guess it's just that idea of Mint Car, perfect new love. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. However you want to take it. Whether it be sexual or just first stages of a relationship, it's like whatever, but so that's probably
I mean, I'm so fizzy I could burst. You wet through and me head first.
Feels so big it almost hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely gets
all right there, Bob. All right there. You're British. We know.
Fizzy. Speaking of which, I had a quiz for you guys. He's actually used the word fizzy in at least 3 songs I could think of. Can you guys name the other 2? Fizzy.
Cut here.
Cut here.
That one?
Yeah. Dizzy, fizzy, dizzy. All those are in there.
It's got to be something like on Japanese Whispers or something, right?
Close. It's a few hours after this into the fizzy night. So
I would not have guessed that ever.
Fizzy night?
If I look for you, we can go outside into the fizzy night. I always thought it was busy, but it's fizzy night.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what I thought too.
Right.
Busy.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
it's fizzy.
Wow.
Is that an English thing or something? Is that something? It wouldn't be a word I would think to use as often in songs, but
it's that let's get happy kind of thing. Like we don't really get it,
I guess in 40 years of songwriting, only using it 3 times isn't really that much. It's not like it's his go-to word.
You think he's like, I know I've already used fizzy twice.
Yeah, he's like,
you're just like, I don't know. This sounds good.
Yeah, I'm due for
I like
fizzy.
threes, so
Exactly.
I should put it in another song. So.
As far as covers of this song, like you were saying, there aren't that many.
No.
So I always feel like it should be one because it is kind of the underrated pop gem, Give Friday I'm in Love a rest and do this one instead. There was that band Wild Minds I found for one of the covers episodes I did.
Yeah.
And then I went down the rabbit hole and found out the singer had passed away. I was like, oh shit, that's sad, but it was a really good cover. So, so that was a good one.
Oh, what was their name?
Didn't I put one on the one episode I did?
I think so. Yeah, there's a few. The band was called Wild Minds, but
Okay.
But yeah, maybe you had referenced that one too. That was kind of one of the only studio full band ones I knew of. A lot of people do it just kind of live YouTube recording, or an acoustic thing or something on YouTube. But should be done more. People should
Yeah,
cover
it should. Really should be.
But I guess as far as live too, it's always fun to look up the stats, and we got messaging about that too, where it was like technically only been played 135 times, which actually is pretty good though for a wild mood swing song. Wild mood swing song. Most of those disappear real quick after the swing tour. But that one hasn't been played too much since most recently was actually the show I was at in Charlotte on the 2016 tour where they played all singles that night. It was a very strange show where they they knew the Charlotte, North Carolina crowd just wanted to hear singles. It was like, is that a backhanded comment? What's going on? But
they're like, that's where that guy lives who does the podcast. Let's just play singles.
yeah, so I was like, what the fuck, man? But still cool.
It's really, I mean, it's pretty cool that, I mean, they played it the most in 96, which is 93 times.
Yeah.
So, which is understandable, but it kind of fell off the playlist until, let's see, about 2005, and then came up, was only played 7 times in 2016.
Yeah.
I know I saw it once, and 7 times in 2017. So, you know, for as big as their catalog is, it's not terrible.
Yeah, I can say,
So,
and it definitely
from 96.
I would say Want, Jupiter Crash, and that are pretty much the top
Yeah.
3 Wild Mood Swings ones, but it's not absurd, I guess. I think it's that lead part as we start to get into the, that, you know, it's not a guarantee that he'll be able to nail that solo and stuff, so I think that probably keeps him from playing it a lot, you know, so that was one of the weird, funny things with them on the Swing Tour, was that apparently there was a bet with Roger and Robert. I believe it was Roger. It makes sense. They had some kind of bet going that he couldn't play the solo without fucking it up. So when you watch pretty much any live performance of them on TV or anything, and he goes into that solo, he starts giggling a bit because there'll be a little flub here or there on the solo, which is a little tricky, especially because it's not really his like kind of style of guitar playing either. You know, it's not the da 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 kind of thing, but it has it's a tough solo to pull off for sure, but makes it sound cool. I like that it's always a little sloppy too, you know. So
That's funny that he gets like, it gets under his skin while he's playing it.
Yeah.
Where he just starts to laugh about it.
yeah, he just starts shaking his head and turns around
Yeah.
when they're all like on Letterman or whatever, you know. So yeah, apparently there was some kind of bet. I don't know what he had to do at the end of every night because he lost the bet or whatever.
I don't think we want to know.
Yeah, who knows? Add that to the Cure mystery pile there. But, it's one of the few, and speaking of Roger, where he plays a tambourine on it and nothing else. I think Boys Don't Cry might be the only other one. But yeah, Roger probably isn't too crazy for this song.
He was made to play that tambourine.
Yeah, he loves that tambourine. So,
I just go for one.
hey, dude. Hey, dude.
What's up, bro?
What do you think of
I'm
Mint
surprised I
Car?
haven't run into more people. I've been trying to avoid.
We got Coulter on the street.
But, yeah, I just what do you think of Mint Car? They like what?
The what? You know, the
You know, Mint Car.
mildly successful hit single from
You know that term that the kids all use?
Yeah. Shit, Mint Car.
This is where it came from.
Awesome. The music video, you guys fond of this one? I've heard people be kind of go either way on the video too, but I like it. I think it's a cool video. What do you guys think?
Today was the first day I've ever seen it.
Really?
I
Yeah.
think what I initially saw was like a fan made one or somebody or a different version because I looked it up today and I had never seen
Ah.
it before. And I mean, assuming what I saw was
It was the video that you saw like Super 8 footage, or was it like him and them all in costumes in different eras? And
all in costumes. Was there two different versions?
Yeah, I think there was like something people had pieced together, but the main one was the one where they're all like going throughout history in the costumes and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
That's the one I just saw today. Because before
Yeah.
I thought it was one where it was like just footage and it showed him. You know, they were playing live and he was wearing the hockey jersey, and it was him. And I think there was like an old lady or two, and
Yeah.
just super random.
Yeah, I think that was something they pieced
Oh,
together
yeah, I
at
know which
another
one you're
time.
talking.
The video for Gone was
Yeah.
kind of like that too, or they might have
I
even
mean, that could be what I'm thinking of,
used
but
some of
yeah,
the same
what I
footage.
saw the day, I'd never seen.
Nah, that makes sense. Yeah, I felt like I'd heard that too and tracked down that video. But yeah, what'd you think of
Yeah.
the floating through history one? I think it's a pretty cool non Tim Pope one. It has like kind of that Tim Pope feel to it without it being an official Tim Pope video. So
Well, I don't know how you could not like the video. It's just the band kind of just fucking around.
yeah, and playing dress
You
up.
know?
How could you know?
It's always fun to be able to see the members, like the videos where it's like you
Yeah.
can actually see who's in the band. I mean, we don't really see their instruments. When I was first getting into playing like the guitar,
Mm-hmm.
also it was fun to see like what they were playing in that era. And sometimes you could see their
Yeah.
not just the guitar, but like their pedal board and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you can see Robert dressed up as like an Egyptian and
Yeah.
whatever else.
Yeah.
And
So yeah, I
it's
guess
pretty rad.
it goes through all the time periods: Egyptian, then like a '40s kind of thing, I think, and then a beatnik party, which I need to go back and listen to the episode. Chris White from Cure News and Janie are in the video somewhere, though. I'm not sure. I hadn't picked
really?
out which ones they were. And he's under the table, so in that scene, which is pretty rad. And then where was the next one? Oh, then the samurai. They bust through some weird samurai scene, and then there's like a British Air Force kind of soldiers on a train. Then we get Hockey Bob for the bridge, which is one of my all-time favorite bridges for some reason in a song. It's a really cool just break in the song when it goes to that "Say it'll always be like this." For some reason, it's super like obvious in a pop song kind of bridge, but it really works great.
Yeah, you get a really good close up of Robert. In the
Yeah,
video.
it zooms in on the
Yeah.
Teen Beat shot there, like ah.
Yeah.
And then it ends with like Titanic Bob or whatever's going on, where he's on like the front of the boat.
I'm the king of the world.
Yeah, which might be the only other time since like Charlotte Subtypes that there's been like other like female actors in a Cure video. I was trying to think. Maybe
Oh
some...
yeah, you get that stupid question on the Facebook pages like, "Is this Mary in the car?"
Yeah.
with them? Like, no,
She's
it's an
gotta-
actress.
She's got to be in there somewhere.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, she probably just
She
stayed
doesn't
home
have
that
to be
day.
involved in everything. Jesus Christ.
Totally. But yeah, I'm down with the video. I've heard people just, think it's too goofy, much like the song. So
Well,
it's probably like
God.
one of those deals where if you're just not down with the song, of course you're not going to like the video. But, so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as far as their videos go, it's probably the most up to that point, probably the most visually production wise video. Like
Yeah.
as far as like all the sets. I mean, you could say Fried 'Em in Love, but it's I think this one's kind of bigger.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
yeah, because you have the videos where they're just standing around playing.
Mm-hmm.
Like Love Song where they're in that weird cave.
Yeah.
And but then you also have stuff like In Between Days with the Dayglow stuff. So, but this one's not going to be as popular. But I love this video. Like, I don't know how you could not like it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, if anything, they could have just kind of wrangled the concept a little bit better and have it be more like specific time periods where there was a pattern. It seems a little just like, what's with the samurai thing where it jumps back to that? Like if it was
Yeah.
like, I don't know if it goes like chronological through history or what, but same time, who cares? Like I said, it's just see Robert and playing dress up. It's fun, right? It's kind of like
You
the
would
whole
think
song.
so, but some people aren't happy all the time.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. Just relax.
I watch Robert play dress up, but that's just me.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, sign me up anytime. Put glasses on him and stuff. That's like the best, So, all works out. But yes, I don't know. On top of that, I guess just going into more like personal attachments or anything. Is there anything that you guys latch onto this song and as far as sentimental attachment or memories you associate with it?
Well, like I said earlier, it's when like my friend and I had both played at
With the
our wedding,
weddings?
so it's got that symbolism to it.
Well, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. Well, I like what you said too, Chaz, where it was like, well, there's only certain ones you can play with your kids. My wife's kind of the same way. My wife's not a fan of the depressing stuff, this is one you could have on.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they might find some
Yeah.
complaints with it still, but this is definitely one where you're like, what do you think of this one? And you'd be like, okay, it's all right. It's not as depressing as what you normally have.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a car. It's definitely like it's got a like gin blossoms kind of driving around, singing along kind of feel to it. You know,
Yeah.
where it's one that nobody's gonna complain about when it comes on. So
They might not even
uh,
think it's a Cure. I mean,
yeah,
I mean, some people, other
yeah.
people might be like, oh, that was a good song, and they wouldn't even know it's Cure.
Yeah, I think I just associate it most with my kids, and just having fun with them driving around in the car and that beautiful strawberry kiss part. You know, I always do that to them. So,
Totally.
yeah, I think that's what I love most about the song as I gotten older with it. So
Yeah. That's what I love about Wild Mood Swings was it was kind of like when it came out for me, it was like my first year of college and stuff, and it was like this was the kind of breaking free, you know, like even though I just like commuted to school still, but it was a good driving song and perfect for that, you know, and like just kind of associate it with that time period of it, like because the album came out in like that spring and stuff, and then like just having it on constantly that summer and going into the fall when I saw him live
Yeah.
for this, and it is just kind of wraps up that whole thing. And I remember like just covering it constantly, like we were playing it, you know, my brother and Donald and I were just like in the basement and stuff, and it was like the first time, even though I was a kid, still like dawned on me how high Robert sings, you know. Like, my brother would be playing the bass part awesome, you know, we're just nailing it, and I was just like, oh, and I'm just like, man. It's just like, it's just not my voice range, you know. It's just like, it's like, damn, he's just all over the place with this one too, so you have to modify it, you know? But yeah, I
Yeah,
got a lot of that kind of attachment. Uh-huh.
it's definitely got a beach ball kind of feel live to it, you know, where
Mhm.
the beach balls go up and everybody starts smacking them around
Yeah.
like they do during like, you know, hot, hot, hot. I've seen that a couple times.
Yeah.
When I've seen them, I don't know how people bring beach balls in or why during
Yeah, they
just for
gotta-
that one song, but whatever.
Deflate it in their pocket and then they blow it up
Yeah,
for that, you think?
I
Or
guess
they,
so. I
they're
don't
just
know.
holding it the
Yeah.
whole night until that.
Quick, it's about to start blowing it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it's got a good festival feel to it. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know why people don't like it. Don't like it. So
Yeah, I guess it is just the attachment of Wild Mood Swings, which everybody seems to have their issues with one way or the other anyway. Especially with their Cure fandom, you know, where they were at when it came out, or their feelings towards everything on it. It just kind of gets lumped in with that. It definitely should have been a pop hit, you know. I mean, I think he's saying and the stars weren't aligned by any means, but yeah, if you boil it down to just to being a good pop song, you know, like you're saying, it could any level Cure fan or just music fan should have appreciated that. I could totally see that being all over the, you know, Billboard charts. But
yeah, if it would have come out in 2000, they could have been up there with Smash Mouth and you know all these other
yeah, exactly. So that's
poppy bands. You know, I'm not making fun of them. I'm just saying that like that time period, they probably if it would have come out in 2000 or even before on Wish, it probably would have gotten more airplay.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
how do you feel
what it
about
is.
its place in the context of the album? Since we're not really looking at the full album, but it's like the way that Wild Mood Swings gets a lot of criticism for, you know, not flowing and stuff. Is it one that you feel like stands out? You know, even the way that Friday I'm in Love stood out a bit on Wish. Do you think it fits?
It's like it's sandwiched between Strange Attraction and Jupiter Crash,
Mhm.
which are two of the better songs on the album, I think.
Yeah.
And it kind of, it's the album starts off great, takes a huge nosedive, and then comes right back up with these guys, but then goes right back down again and stays down
Yeah.
until about the end of the album. So, I think it's a perfect sister song to Strange Attraction.
Yeah.
But I don't like how it flows into Jupiter Crash.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I think
kinda
about like I'm
agree where
putting a
it's
mixtape together, they wouldn't be next to each other.
yeah. But it doesn't feel weird and like it shouldn't be on there at all. I guess it's just like
No,
the
it's
other
perfect.
ones on there. Yeah, I think it even though it doesn't really fit with like Want or Bear, the other ones that I love on the album, it still feels like we'll just make it work somehow. It's like this one you got to have on there. But what do you think, Coulter? Does it stand out like listening back to it or anything in a bad way or?
No, I don't. I mean, given some of the other tracks on the album, I don't think it's necessarily like out of place or that it doesn't belong.
Yeah.
That's kind of how the whole album is. I think
Right.
there could have been some changes that kind of helped the emotional. I don't know, from piece to piece, they could have done it a little bit differently. But like Chaz said, I think going from Strange Attraction first into this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's good. That's totally fine. But then going into Jupiter Crash, it's kind of a 180 of just the opposite
Right.
direction. But
Yeah. Especially when you don't have where the album is, kind of, there's not too many good songs on it.
Mm-hmm.
You have 3 of them bunched together. You got to
Right.
spread that thing. You got to spread that jelly out.
True.
Put it around the crusts and everything. So, I just there's and it, like we said before, the album ends great, but I think there's some B-sides that could have been switched out. That could have been complemented the song a lot better in the album as a whole. But I would have liked to seen it maybe towards the end, just to break up that monotony and like terrible songs.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like it might get lost in there. So.
Yeah, I remember in the many, like, it's just a joke at this point, the many tracking order redos that people do of Wild Mood Swings. I did one where I tried to match it mood-wise as much as possible to Wish, just because it was the closest, and it has a little bit of everything. So, like, using B-sides and whatever. I can't remember exactly what I did, but, like, I basically put it in the spot of where Friday I'm in Love is on Wish, because that never really seems super weird, I think it's like it's track 7 on Wish, so was that like the first song on the second side if it was a tape or something like that maybe, or the record might be the first song. So yeah, I think if it's something like that where it's kind of the break in the middle where it brings it back up, almost should have come after Jupiter Crash, if anything, something like that where it brings it back up or something. But yeah,
I'm fine with a pop song, sad song, pop song. I'm fine with that. I'm just I'm just not okay with like pop song and then sad song and then shit afterwards.
Just horrible song, then weird jazz song. There's a lot going on that album, but that's a bigger conversation. So
that we've had many times.
Many times. Nobody's gonna solve that debate, I don't think.
I think a lot. We can say this about just about all the albums where like there are certain B-sides that definitely should have been on the album, if not all the B-sides that you hear. And you had already mentioned Home, and that's one of my favorite songs, and I think that's one that should have made it. What's the other two? I know Pink Dream.
Pink Dream.
That was just okay. I wouldn't put that on there, I don't think.
And Waiting was the other one.
I like Waiting.
Cool. Yeah, I think all of them are arguably better than a lot of the songs on Wild Mood Swings, so I wouldn't have had any problem with swapping in some of those.
Are those the only 3? For the whole...
Yeah, I think so. Then you got the variation mixes of Mint Car.
Okay.
But
I don't know why. Sometimes I confuse Halo for this album. It might just be the fact that it's kind of more upbeat and happy. I don't know why I do that. I think an interesting concept would be maybe like for, if it was vinyl and had a couple songs on each side, but like the Wild Mood Swings were separated. And it was like you had the happy and you had the angry and the sad. And they did not like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways you could spice up this album. He even gets into it in that DEK article, which is funny, of the fact that he even gets roped into it. It's just
it is. Yeah, it's not going to solve the problem. It'll make it look different. It's just like rearranging the problem, but not. People aren't going to be like, oh, I like it this way now.
He just starts going down that road. Well, you can tell his brain starts wandering. He's like, that would have been cool as if I had stuck with the acoustic idea, and then I saved the other songs. Just like,
oh God, stop the interview. Stop the interview.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, we're never going to get the new album. He's just going to go back and redo this.
Fuck. Yeah, what would be the 30th anniversary anyway? So he's got like what 5 years to work on it now. So.
Yeah. Well, this wasn't the era. Where, this was still where you had like 2 years between each album. Now, if it was like that, you would just keep your mouth shut and say whatever you have,
Yeah,
just put it out.
yeah.
But I definitely agree with, like I said, when I first got into this album, I would go Treasure and Bear, and that's pretty much it. I would go to those last two, and I do like the idea of just having a more acoustic, mellow kind of album.
Yeah. Yeah, he gets into that and I kind of agree now. I haven't done the full 2-split mix like he was saying in that article of like, because that was the initial approach, was to do it the acoustic kind of thing with Bear and like Numb, even though I don't like that song, but like that approach with Jupiter Crash and like all the ones that are kind of more acoustic-y. You could probably do like a Ted song thing of that with some of those B-sides even, and then save the wild weird album with like Gone and 13th and shit all for its own like kind of kooky weird album or EP or something would have been great. So but yeah, that's like, that's what I love, is like everybody splits up the album different too, it's like, oh god, you would have put that on there. So I don't know, but yeah, he is in favor of Mint Car still. He seems like he was down with it.
Good.
So yeah, there's a few he'll still stick up for on this record. So,
yeah, and I know we're talking this track in specific, and I do think this should have probably been the first track with maybe Strange Attraction as the second. The 13th was,
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I like the song, but I was like, if that's what you're putting out as a single for people who have certain expectations for The Cure, I mean, that might have been what turned him off, maybe.
Yeah, well, that's what he says in that too. Is that the idea of putting it out as the second single, he felt like a lot of people lost or set their expectations a lot lower for Wild Mood Swings because 13th was a little bit kooky and weird, so they're just kind of like at that point, and they already had lost a lot of Cure fans or just people in general, after that single, because Steve Lyons in particular, I think, was really lobbying to have this be the first single, which I think probably would have been better, but at the same time, I don't really know if it would have changed that much with the album as a whole, I think.
It's hard to tell, and it almost seems like it's trying to cater to the fan base while also trying to cater to new fans, and it doesn't quite reach either.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and going back to what Craft Theory said on Instagram even, and that's kind of my complaint of the song too, is that I think Friday I'm in Love is a little wittier with its lyrics, even though they're a little goofy with just going through the days of the weeks and shit, but like I feel like the lyrics are a little weak on Mint Car, as much as I love the song, even it is just like, never got this good, wouldn't think it would, I mean, it's just like, what? It's like,
but I'm sure all three of us, we probably all pretty much have Friday I'm in Love memorized, and this one, and I'm sure we've heard this one a number of times. I don't think any of us could just, I mean, I'll speak for myself. I don't think I could say word for word these lyrics. There are parts, but not the whole thing.
I could probably agree. I don't know. There's, like I said before, I think it just has to do with the airplay of Friday I'm in Love and all the covers.
Yeah.
Compared to this one, that I prefer listening to this one more. But yeah, I don't know. I think I do think it's a better song, but I don't know about making it the first single.
Yeah.
Either. I still think Want should have been.
Totally. Because you don't want to come out blazing.
Song. I don't know how long it is though. Is that a longer track?
Yeah. That one.
I mean, it's a bit like others.
They could edit
other
it
singles
down.
have been long.
Yeah.
They could have edited a radio edit.
Yeah. Pictures of you.
And it probably would have been
like
smarter because Want would have like kind of secured like the loyal Cure fans a bit more too. Like, oh yeah, they're still here, and then hit them up with the Poppy gem once he got them back.
They were already kind of there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's kind of being insincere with like I'm gonna wrangle you in with this one song, even though nothing else on the album sounds like it. Yeah. And the rest of it is like a completely different direction.
Because even Wish though, like, they didn't come out blazing with Friday I'm in Love. That was the
single?
second single, So it was like,
what was the first?
High. So it was kind of,
right.
like, yeah, here's a cool, fun single, and then it was like, and we got this after everybody was like hooked. It was like, oh shit.
but then they had the ability to put out, Letter to Release after that. Well, that was the third one, right?
Yeah. Which
So
should
it
have,
was.
in my opinion, should have been a better hit than Friday.
It should have
Night
been the
Love.
first single overall, but
Totally, yeah. But I could see that might.
but
be a
still,
little...
they had something to back it up with. This, there's nothing. Like there's,
Yeah.
I mean, you could put one out and maybe like I don't know what would the third single on this album would be. And I know we're rehashing the old episode, but
Yeah.
it's like I don't know. Strange Attraction is a good song, but I don't think it's a single.
Yeah, even Gone, it's like it's fun and I feel like mixed really well and everything, but it's like that's so fucking weird single choice
Yeah.
too, It's just like what?
Yeah. We all love Treasure, but I don't think that's a single. Either,
So,
So,
yeah, it's a
yeah.
weird Pink Dream. I'm telling you, should have been just one more rewrite of the lyrics, and that would have been a hit.
More songs about Robert fucking.
Yeah, I think maybe just tone down all the blowjob references, and maybe it would have been a hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, hindsight.
So when I first got into him, it was a little bit before 413 Dream came out, and I think the first single from that was I'm forgetting the name. It's the second track on the album.
Only one.
The only one.
Only one, yeah. And hearing
Yeah.
those lyrics, kind of like,
Yeah.
am I interpreting this
Yeah.
correctly?
No,
Exactly.
it's about getting a BJ. It's quite that's the song I had my wife listen to, and she was like, "Yo, he's so dirty," and I'm just like, "Yeah."
Like,
Saucy
yeah, I
Bob.
didn't start with that album, even though it came out like right when I was getting into it. I'm like, I'm gonna start back here and maybe work my way over here.
Yeah.
We should look over every lyric of every album to see how many if there's a song about blowjobs on each album.
Yeah.
So
I would never
secretly does
tell.
it.
I don't know which one of you guys said it, but Mick Carr, I would never have thought of it in a losing your virginity aspect. It's gonna be one of those things
Sexual.
with Donald
Yeah,
and
I know it's gonna.
Edge of the Deep Green Sea, where now it's like, man, that's what it is now. Another song I can't listen to.
Oh, you're gonna think of So,
Oh man.
well, like I said,
Yeah.
it's a very positive experience at least. So it's not like a prom night gone wrong or anything. I think it seems like everybody's happy and happy with their
Until that-
decision. And
Yeah.
Until that clown pops out and
Yeah,
it
so-
ruins the whole experience.
exactly, as they tend to do, those
Yes.
clowns. But cool. Well, I guess we'll start to wind down there, guys.
Yeah.
I think it made it onto the greatest hits album, whether the Billboard charts agree or not. I think Robert still, confident that it belongs there. I agree. It should be in the top hits.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's other songs on an album that shouldn't be on there, but I think that one should be.
Greatest is all relative, right?
Yeah, exactly. What does that even mean? Yeah. Well, thanks so much, guys. Hope it didn't keep you too late. And I think we should all got a little bit of summer left. Maybe not by the time this comes out, but
I got lots of summer left.
You're always in summer.
You're always in
For those who
summer.
don't know, yeah, I'm in Phoenix. So.
Okay, yeah. So it's always summer, so you can just keep Mint Car on full rotation. There you go.
This is on repeat.
All the different mixes you can listen to.
It's more of a dry heat song.
Yeah.
So you're good.
Exactly. Cool deal. Well, we'll sign off there, and we'll take it easy. And thanks out there for listening. Talk hard. Thanks,
Ow!
Chaz. Thanks, Coulter.
I really don't think it gets any better than this.
All right, there you go, kids. Hope you enjoyed that closer look at the single from Wild Mood Swings, Mint Car. Of course, a very big thank you to Coulter for joining us. Always a pleasure talking with Coulter and catching up with him. And of course, Chaz, thanks for joining me. And we hope you enjoyed listening out there. But we'd also like to thank our Patreon here at the end of the episode. If you're interested in joining the Patreon crew, go on over to patreon.com/theholyhourpodcast and see if you want to be a part of the action. Much like Donna and Craig and Jeff Hilton, Jeff Cortland Jones, Suzanne, John, Ben, Allison, and Alan. And of course, as always, if you need some more Star Wars talk in your life, I got just the podcast for you. Our friend Scott Kruger co-hosts the best Star Wars podcast in the galaxy called the Sarlacc Digest. And you can catch them on YouTube live every Monday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And they hash out all the latest news, rumors, and line talk for everything Star Wars related. No matter what level Star Wars fan you are, they cover it all. So go over and check them out on Monday nights, 8 p.m. Pacific time on YouTube, where you can also catch all their past episodes, as well as everywhere you listen to podcasts. And if you are up in Calgary and want to check out a cool bar, Lisa would like you to know that Dickens has reopened up. So you go on over to Dickens and have yourself a drink. You can catch a show and all kinds of cool events going on. So be sure to check out Dickens. You can check them out at Dickens YYC on Instagram. And also they're still doing their live streams if you want to stay home and dance in the comfort of your home. Tuesdays and Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And on Sundays at 9 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Again, that's Dickens YYC, and that's on Twitch. And of course, if you want to do something useful with all that blood that you're not using, our friend Matt would like you to check out the Red Cross donor app, blood donor app that you can download, make it easy to find a place to download your blood, donate your blood, and help out, especially during the pandemic. There's a lot of blood shortages going on, so go check it out. The app is free. It's easy to navigate. It helps you schedule an appointment and tells you where the blood actually even goes after you've donated it. So go check out that app. If you'd like an alternative to the Red Cross, I recommend checking out Team Rubicon and AmeriCares, or just contacting your local hospitals directly and see how you can help donate blood and save lives. And know what else saves lives? Is curethreads.com. It saves you from looking like a dingus. So go get yourself some beautiful Cure-related t-shirts by our buddy Kate over at her online shop at curethreads.com. It's an amazing online store that offers a wide variety of products, including Cure-inspired artwork and designs created by Kate herself. So go do some online browsing over there. Maybe start getting some Christmas gift ideas going. It's everything, even beyond t-shirts. You can get Cure dresses and footwear. So all kinds of stuff. Go check it out, curethreads.com, as well as check out some of the books that Kate has for sale over there that she created all the illustrations for, the children's books, and they're for sale. And wonderful gifts for children and other people. And last but not least, I always recommend going on over to see Chaz's Cure-themed t-shirts as well at 17 Seconds shirts.bigcartel.com. You can also just follow his Instagram at 17_seconds and see what his latest designs are up for pre-order. I'm not sure what's up right now, so there might be the calm before the storm, so it's a good time to go over there and follow him and be on top of it and ready to pounce when he puts up a new t-shirt. So most of them are, once they're gone, they're gone, so you gotta act fast and keep your eyes peeled. You won't find these shirts anywhere else. 17 Seconds shirts.bigcartel.com. All right, I think that's about all I got to pedal and push at this point here. So again, special thanks to all the Patreon crew. You guys are awesome and couldn't do this without you. I so greatly appreciate it. And on top of that, just subscribe on Apple and YouTube and Spotify and anywhere you could subscribe to keep following the podcast as you get the episodes as they come out. We're going to try to cram a few up in here in the next bit, so it might even get off of the 2-week pattern again. So lots on the horizon as always. All the oldies are in the Apple feed again. In case you're wondering, we're caught up in the last week or so. It's officially done. They're all together again. So if you want to hear some of those dreadful early episodes, they're there waiting for you. So I recommend going back if you want to even try to track down the old album ones. I'm going to try to make a playlist, I think, on YouTube of just the album episodes so people can listen them to those. I can't do that, unfortunately, on Apple or anything, but because they're just kind of scattered through them as they went. But I'm gonna group them all together. If you're a YouTube listener out there, keep an eyes peeled for that, because I'm gonna put all the album ones there. If you want to revisit any of those, I should even re-listen to some of them. They've been forever. I don't remember what we said. So check that out on YouTube. Instagram, follow us at the Holy Hour Podcast, and be sure to follow that. That's where all immediate updates will be posted. And on the Facebook page, the Holy Hour Podcast Facebook page, you can chime in at any time and give us your 2 cents on Mint Car, or just email me at gavinconnor@gmail.com if you have any ideas or suggestions or comments about past or future episodes. Always love to hear from you. And on that note, I will finally wrap up and let you go. Thanks so much for listening. We'll be back very soon with another wonderful episode. We got a special Arusha Takes Over episode coming that you're going to love. She talks to some diehard Cure fans, and it is amazing. So I'm very excited to get that out to you, hopefully next episode. So till then, talk hard, take care.